Pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum.
Hola, this is your Willie, not CM Punk. Welcome to another classic modern film review. Coming up next is the most anticipated movie of the year, besides the actual anticipated movie of the year. From the modern reviews, this is The Revenant. We start off this year's modern review with the critically acclaimed movie that has everybody talking about, earning Leonardo DiCaprio a Golden Globe and cemented Alejandro González Iñárritu as one of the best film directors of the decade with his last award-winning film, Birdman. The Revenant is a great movie worth all the anticipation put into for its simple story but fascinating cinematography alongside with the physical agony that these actors, especially Leo, are put through. This is from a book telling the true events in 1823 when Hugh Glass, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, joins the Rocky Mountains Fur Company to venture into the unexplored territories of the Missouri River, when Native Americans were still settling in. But later is brutally attacked by a bear, injuring him to the point of death. His crew members don't think he's going to last until one of them, named John Fitzgerald, played by Tom Hardy, betrays him, kills Hugh Glass' son, and buries him. But little does he know, Glass is still alive and has the enough amount of strength to survive and find his way home to get his revenge. Attempts were made before to make this film happen since 2001 with Samuel L. Jackson as their lead, but the production would leave the project unfinished, and through the years, rewrites of the screenplay were made and new stars were considered for the main lead, such as Christian Bale or Sean Penn. Then the project would be given to Alejandro González and Leo would be casted into the main role, and the rest is history. This movie was filmed in different locations such as Calgary, Canada and the lowest south of Argentina. While filmmaking it, it was very difficult for the crew for how cold the locations were. But if there's one thing I gotta say is, thank you Alejandro for giving us one of the most beautiful environmental movies to look at. You can tell immediately he was having landscape-gasm all over the place for shooting the woods, the river, the snow, the mountains, the sky, from the tallest areas to the lowest. All that was missing was to shoot inside a volcano and make DiCaprio decide whether he wanted the real lava or the fake lava. And looking at what he went through, he probably would have picked the real lava. It's been a while since we've seen an actor go through so much suffering since The Passion. This is the role that many are speculating this will finally lead DiCaprio to win an Oscar. If only the guest stars in the awards were like the wrestling fans threatening the Academy of riots if Leo doesn't win an Oscar this time, and he deserves no less than that. He doesn't come out as the yelling nut that you see in almost every movie that he's in. Here, he's very quiet and barely speaks any English. Heck, he barely even speaks at all. Even though he still has some over-the-top moments at times. Although we don't get to know him that well as a person, his motivation that strains him through the memory of his dead wife and son gives it an element of humanity that the audience can feel for him and hope in the end he gets out of the cold wilderness. His character tells a narrative story only through the use of visuals and imagery, and it feels vivid for how real it is. The film barely uses any special effects. The cold weathers and the woods were all real, which gave it a sense of being different as an epic story from the action movies we get with their exploited special effects. Not saying they're bad, but it was refreshing. The bear attack was one of the few special effects, but it looked so impressive for how realistically violent it was. At times, it was very hard to sit through watching it in close-up. The close-up shots helped give us a feel of uncomfortableness the character was going through with the cold temperatures, his injuries, and the methods he would use to survive. I would look around at the theater and see what were the people's reactions, and some of them had their eyes wide open because they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Another guy had his hand covered of astonishment, and I was thinking to myself, great! Whatever this movie's intention was, it worked! It almost felt like this movie was trying to make us put ourselves into his place, like, what would we do if we were in those circumstances? Will we last long enough? How far will we push ourselves in order to survive in the worst case of scenarios? The other side characters served their purpose, as Tom Hardy did as the villain. He's as funny with his reactions as he's despicable. This must be the role that cements him as the actor of this newer generation. His character is portrayed as a loud-mouthed scumbag with a hypocritical side of his beliefs, but there is something about Tom Hardy that he has that makes you love to hate this character. He bullies his way to get what he wants and doesn't care that others see him as a savage brute. Some critics felt vague with the revenge story, and at times, I even forgot it was about revenge. There are things that are not fully explained, like how did he end up marrying a native, but it looks so massive, and with the soundtrack made it even more of an epic tale. Even if it has unanswered questions, the cinematography makes it look good and better. The natives serve as a parallel of what the character Huge Glass was seeking through the whole story, as well as what the natives were seeking through the whole story, and in the end they both help one another to get what they want. Maybe some might view this as a film that had too much and yet had very little. In this case, less is better. The Revenant is like poetry come to life with the use of symbolic imagery, the charming landscapes of the earth, the motivation that drives someone to do what he or she does, whether good or bad. This is a rated R, violent survival revenge story with very simple themes, but the cinematography made it look massive, and the human element added into it turned it into an emotional quest for redemption. I'm glad I saw this in the big screen, and now I'm looking forward to what is next for the director Alejandro Gonzalez. I give it 8.5 out of 10 stars. And that's that. Those were my thoughts on the movie. Did you like it? Did you not like it? You can comment down below and give your opinion about the movie. Well, tune in next time for more videos to come. For now, that's it for today. Ciao!